Hey, what's up, our Vive and Vive community as a whole? This is Gwen. I wanted to give you guys an update on some of the improvements we've made on the stock that I showed about a month ago or so on YouTube and Reddit. First, I want to start off real quickly with a brief discussion of how I use a real gun in real world and how I think most people use a gun. I think that's going to be helpful to explain some of the reasons we've made some of the decisions as far as like the butt goes and how to mount and things like that. But first and foremost, this is a shotgun. Long guns are a bit different, but they're roughly the same as far as this goes. You have is the butt. This is the comb, and I want to show you how most people mount guns if they're trying to aim down a sight. So the important part is for the cheek to be on the comb, right? It's got to be really pressed down. You know, when people first learn how to shoot, that's one of the first mistakes they make is they leave their cheek off or they try to do it something like that. You know, the mount actually where you shoulder is sort of important for consistency, but really the butt is for recoil, essentially. If you need to be able to shoot multiple times and not lose your plane of sight, you need to have something bracing it. But without a recoil, it's not quite as important. As long as you keep your cheek right down on the comb and your sight, you can see. So normally you wouldn't close your eye when you're shooting a shotgun, but for this purpose you see. So it's important to be able to keep that plane, right? Where we go, and you have to be able to mount it quickly, right? Every time. All right, you're sick of that, I'm sure. Okay, so now to the stock. First of all, I'm going to show you the pieces. We've improved quite a bit on the piece, the anchor, the clip, and how it fits. So it's now down to this. You'll see this one actually has some wear and tear on it. That's why we're getting these powder coated next week. This is just primer and spray paint, but after really maybe a half hour of use, you start to see the metal wear through. So not ideal, and we're gonna fix that with some powder coating. But what are they? So it's the clips that you guys all know. We've got a metal washer, a steel washer, and then I've got a rubber or nylon washer below it. Okay, same thing on the back. Rubber, nylon washer, and metal. And then a wing nut. Okay, how does it work? Basically, just sits on top of the donut. I'll show it to you. So you just put it just like that. And then you flip it over and you put the other side down here. So it sandwiches and pinches the absolute inner circumference of the donut. So if you can see what I've done there. Okay, take the wing nut, tighten it, thumb tight. I should do this so you guys can see. Okay, that's it. Make sure it's relatively straight. Some people have commented on some of the wear and tear on the controllers I've got. Those, that's largely from previous prototypes, and frankly I had one steel, the first one actually was, the steel rod was too short, so it would often slip in here and scratch that up. I don't care so much about it. I've got a few controllers and I don't expect to ever sell this. But you saw that, I just like that. It's all attached. You can tighten as much as you want. It's not going anywhere. I've already got the other one attached. They're both identical, just like last time. Importantly, I'm not sure you'll be able to see it here, but right there is one of the sensors. It's no longer occluded. Same as the one, the one in front, right there, and same on the top, right there and there. Nothing is 100% occluded. That said, the clip can occlude if, for example, you have a lighthouse trying to reach this sensor. It could be blocked by that. Additionally, when the rod is in, there would be even slightly more occlusion, but we've tried to minimize that as much as possible. Here's the rod. Previously I had a squash ball on the end of it. I've replaced that with essentially Plasti-Dip. I've just dipped a cap onto that, so it's still nice and tacky, sticks to the plastic, but it doesn't have nearly as much of a profile, so it's not going to occlude HMD sensors as much as the squash ball. I don't think I saw a ton of occlusion on the HMD, but it's best to minimize it where possible. Okay, how does it clip in? Just like normal. That. So again, you can slide up and down if you need to. Okay. Again, you can use the left hand with the rod still clipped in, so when you're doing things like, you know, standard injections or iPad, whatever, radio, no problem. This is now made out of wood, so it's actually a little bit lighter than the aluminum pole I'd been using. I think we could probably still make this lighter with a very thin gauge, but that's what we are right now. Some people had asked about, is it you know, doing damage to the actual plastic where it's making contact. This is an important component of the design. You see when it clips in, it actually, if the clip wasn't in the actual anchor, it would go further into the clip. But because the rod rests on the Vive controller itself, it makes a nice snug, you know, it doesn't move around sort of forward and backwards. Maybe, let me see if I can demonstrate. Clearly, there's the ability to rotate it if you need to, but it's roughly fixed. Sure, it could rotate it there. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay, again, in, out. We're working on a design that actually can change the tension of the clip, so you can actually have your left or your non-dominant hand clip tighter than your dominant hand, so you can, you know, be more confident that when you actually go to unclip, you unclip the right one and you don't accidentally do something like that. That's sort of a pain. But right now you can just do it manually just by like squeezing these together a little bit more. Okay, I know this is long, so I'm sorry if you guys are bored already, but I'll show you quickly how I use it in action and why it's important to be able to anchor it to the HMD. So do I have it going over here? Yeah, I should have onward going. Oh, look at that, black screen. Okay, that's close enough. So, here we go. So I can't see this. Let me just double check, make sure I'm in frame. Yeah, see, I've got it mirrored right now so you can see exactly what's in my eye. Whoa. Can I get out somewhere a little more reasonable? Okay. So I'm right eye dominant and right-handed, so you probably want to focus on the right eye if you want to see what I'm seeing as far as scope goes. I did mention I usually use scopes, especially in the outside maps. So this is how I use it. Okay, so now I've got the gun in hand. What I'll usually do is, once I mount it, I'll pull the scope back so it's absolutely as close to my eye as possible without clipping into it. Okay. I'm not really in the center of my room right now, so it's not tracking perfectly, but you get the idea. Hopefully you can see where the bullet impact is. I'll do it on the bank. Okay. Now you have to be able to do it quickly, mount quickly, and still be on target, right? So just like that. Okay. What else? So when I am doing something like using a grenade, what I'll often do is unclip, always do. Now I got the grenade, right? Just like that. There's an injection. Boom. Okay. Back. Just like that. I sort of have a feel after I've been using a gun roughly how close I need it to my eye. Okay. And a lot of people said, well, you need the butt to be able to anchor it and have your gun stay with you. That's not really true. What you really need is you need your cheek, or in this case, because the cheek isn't accessible from the with the HMD over it, I just go right against the HMD. Okay. And so run. You can run with the gun in hand, or you can take it out. No problem. Radio. Okay. Gun. Put in. Adjust. Boom. Okay. Reload. Oops. Back in. Reload. Exit. Sorry. Radio. Map. Now, if I'm swinging, let's say I'm, I don't really know where the enemy is. I've got it right here. This is where having it fixed to your HMD is super helpful. I never really lose it. I actually didn't notice that there's actually sway when you move the gun. I'm just noticing that right now. I don't know if you guys can see that, but if I move really fast, it can sway. But I mean, both are clipped, and that's just a mechanism of the game. So you're running, da da da, boom. All right, that's it. Hope you guys can see some of that. Oh gosh, it looks pretty bright. Let me see. Could you really see that? I hope so. Well, if you didn't, I'll do it again. But yep, that's a Gwinstock 2.0. We are producing these right now. They're pretty easy to make. We're gonna get them powder coated, and we should have them up online in the next, I'd say, 2 weeks or so. We are looking at potentially putting a butt on. We've gotten a lot of requests about that, and I'll update you guys in the next few weeks on how to do that. Frankly, I think there are some pretty good butts that attach to the controllers already, and so we may just suggest people include those, and they are compatible with this. But all right, I hope that's everything. I will see you guys online. I will still be the dead guy, but maybe not as often.